Empower Minds is something that you started, as you said, some years ago, and how it was absolutely not normal to be talking about mental health then. It still isn't normal to be talking about mental health. The moment somebody says, I have mental health issues, suddenly you begin to doubt their competence, you begin to doubt their ability to function. But I think as a society, we are taking small baby steps towards having these conversations. And I'd like to thank the ABP network for putting this session together, because such conversations are of paramount importance if we are to be a valuable human resource. I mean, just like you talk about your physical health, you'd want to talk about your mental health as well, and you should have the freedom and the empowerment to talk about, in your own words, if you have a fever, you'd say you have a fever, but you should be able to say that you're not feeling quite right, and that shouldn't be dismissed. Now, that is the need of the hour, the fact that we use every forum, every platform to speak about it. It doesn't mean that everybody needs an intervention, but how do you decide whether they need care, they need guidance, they need intervention? How do you begin to address the process of awareness of mental health?
So I think awareness really needs to start at your own individual level first. So just taking a cue from what you said, that, had you started focusing on your mental health years ago, you would have been in a much better place. So I think, what you're saying is absolutely right. And that's why I feel that creating awareness early on is so important. So when I had Ananya, which was like years ago now, I was a kid myself. I was very young myself. And the awareness was, really lacking. So I went through postpartum depression at that point in time. I had no clue on what was happening to me and why it was happening to me. And I just found myself feeling so guilty all the time, because here I was, I had just had a baby, my firstborn. It was supposed to be a very beautiful moment in my life, which it was. But I was also grappling with bouts of crying, just feeling very low, not knowing what was happening and why it was happening. And everybody in the family was also very confused that, what is happening and why are you so upset? And I myself didn't know what was happening. And that's when I started reading up about it, and I realized that there is something called postpartum depression. Of course, I was able to, you also overcome it, right? And I was able to overcome it. But had I known that something like that does happen and that it's normal, I would have been able to speak about it more openly. I would have not been so hush-hush about it. I would have been able to deal with it much better, and been able to deal with the first few months of my child, knowing that it's okay to feel like that as well. So therefore, I think building that awareness right from the beginning is very, very important. I'm talking about postpartum, but you also now have children who are grappling with so many issues. So if they know that, whether it is anxiety, whether it is panic, whether it is feeling low, are all things that can happen to people, can happen to young adults, can happen at a much younger age, you're just able to deal with it much better. So I think creating that awareness with yourself. I also feel that it's very important to start creating awareness at a school level, because, you have a captive audience, you're able to sensitize the children right from an early age. You're able to also then bring about mental health literacy with their teachers, with the parents. I think it's an entire ecosystem that we really need to bring awareness about.
Yeah, ideas of India.